Hello and welcome to the next session of Measurement in Industries. Just have a look on these figures. What happened? Guess what happened? They are different force measuring devices. Force measuring devices. Usually, we know them as load cells. One more here. So today's topic will be on strain gauge load cell for the force measurement. I am your course instructor, Mosam Pandya. Welcome you to the next session. So what is a load cell? Before we go ahead, please recall the working of the strain gauge. Here, when I say load cell, it means we will be talking about the strain gauge load cell. Strain gauge is like, say, one example, one type which we recall, that is metal point type of strain gauge, where the gauge or strain gauge is applied on the different parts as and when the dimensions of the forged material changes, the resistance will be changed. And the strain gauge will be part of Wheatstone bridge. And as and when Wheatstone bridge gets unbalanced, the proportionate voltage will be generated. This generated voltage will be in proportion to the applied force on the dimensions of the resistive element. So here we start with that. The load cell is a force transducer and it converts like force, like say it may be tensile force, it may be compressive force, or it may be pressure or torque into electrical signals. So when force applied to the load cell increases, it will change the electrical signals proportionately. And different types are hydraulic, pneumatic, and strain gauge. So here we will be going ahead with the strain gauge load cell. You look at this diagram here. 4 strain gauges are applied at 4 corners, to upper and to lower surface of the load cells. Usually, as I said, it is metal forged strain gauge are more popular. They are most common technology we use. So looking at this, the force is applied, a compressive force is applied here. So there are 4 strain gauges, 2 will be facing the tensile force, 2 will be facing the compressive force, and all 4 will be the in the arms of the Wheatstone bridge. And the similar kind of activity I had shown when we studied strain. So here you see, like when R1, R2, R3, R4 are moved, changed, and with the reference from the Futech.com, they are one of the large sensor manufacturer. You see the entire working of the load cell strain gauge in the load cell. And accordingly, the voltages are being varied in the. So the entire assembly contains one robust mechanical structure, strain gauge is implemented inside, one electric circuitry, analog circuitry, and the voltage signal transmitting to the display, some analog to digital converter is also required, and it makes one commercial product. So we will be going through different types of load cells here. The major 2 types of forces, one is compressive and other is tensile. So the first one is the compressive, here you see. So compression load cell, one broad classification. These are the strain gauges which are measuring the pushing kind of forces. From here, if we push, it will be measuring. So compression or pushing forces. They're ideal for general weight applications. Okay, and usually they are available for this silo and vessel weighing system. Silo means the grain storage or say food storage are there. And in this category, products are known as say compressive load cell, column load cell, bending ring load cell, torsion ring load cell, pancake type of load cell, low profile load cell, angular load cell, donut load cell, Z beam, force motion load cell, S beam load cell. So this I'm going to show you one by one in the upcoming slides. Next is tensile. You see here you can see the two metals that you can hook up with material, where tensile load cells are meant to measure the pulling loads. Okay, and typically they are used for the hanging scales and again vessel weighing by the hanging structure. Even in laboratories, there are standard devices for the general force measurement. And in this tensile load cell, say SPM load cell, beam, tension link, load link, Vogel load cells, these are the commercial names that you should remember. Let us go by different types. Here you see diagram where again two ends are given with the hookup facility, and middle one that I have made circle on that. That is the part that is inline load cell, and there are like column style or canister style force sensors with the male threads which can be fitted in certain structures, and they are very stiff and highly accurate, and minimum mounting space is required, and good for the endurance and trace application. They can be worked with the tensile as well as compressive force application. Next one is button load cell. I have made that round on that area, and being in the latest technology, everything will be having digital readout, digital display. It is a single flat raised surface where compressive force is applied. So button load cells are basically in the category of compressive load cells. The low profile is a very easy and the robust one, and used in the package application where directly you push up the load and you find out the amount of force. Another is through hole load cell. The hole is made, and from the upper side, from here, the road or whatever objects is to be measured for the force measurement will be inserted, and it is also known as a donut load cell, like donut cake having one hollow part in that, or even washer load cell or through hole force transducer. Having smooth, non-threaded inner diameter, so the inner side doesn't have any threads in that, and one rod is to be passed in the our load cell. Specifically, application is bolt loading application, where with the loading or fixing of the bolt, how much force will be generated on the structure can be determined. Another is the S beam load cell, that you see S kind of a structure is made. It is also known as Z beam load transducer. It can be used in tensile and compressive both the applications, and again having compact profile and having very high accuracy. In general, if you see all kind of load cells are having very rough and stiff structure, having very good mechanical design, can work in almost all type of environments. And it is used basically in the inline processing and automated controlled feedback applications because of its compact structure. The next is pancake load cell, that we saw this word in the previous session, where the diagram is like cake having some toppings on that, and it is also known as universal load cell. And centrally threaded hole is given for the measuring load in the either tension or compression, both the question. And it is very resistive to the off-axis loading. Like if the rod is inserted in the our load cell, and if it is moved by some other off-axis loading, it will be able to handle. And it is used for the again high endurance applications and inline measurement. Inline means the process is going on and you have to measure it. The next is rod and load cell. Here you see like one end is taken out like a rod and another having the female thread. So it has male and female both these thread structure, one side to other side female structure. So that can be fixed in the combination where a force sensor is required into an existing fixture. Like already one structure is available and where you have to insert this. So both sides you have facility to use it. Single point load cell, this is one of the most popular load cells that we always find in our small projects, or when we talk about our simple weighing system, and it can measure tensile and compression both. Side mounted load cell is there, and having a very precise operation, so it can be used in the high volume production application. So these are the major types which are known by the different names. And now we will see various load cell designs, how they are implemented. The one is in front of there is bending beam load cells, where will be applied as a part of beam. And you see the structure here, the way on the structure you see some green, yellow, blue and red wire. They all are connected with one separate strain gauge circuit. Another are the column shaped spring element and spring element directly from the measuring bracket. There are two different types where we have to incorporate the spring type of structure. So here you see the samples from the leading manufacturers. Here you see inside the bellows kind of application, 4 strain gauges are inserted that you can mark up with the orange dots on the 4 corners within this diagram. Another is hollow cylindrical load cells, where the name itself says there is a cylinder having smooth inner surface and with which you can measure, so that can be fixed up on the our object under the force application. The next is ring torsion load cells. This is more used for the torque measurement. Torque is again the reflection of the force multiplied by the distance. So next is shear beam load cell. Here the load cell is supported on one structure from where the force will be measured by this load cell. Now finally, with this entire basic theory of the strain gauge load cell and the commercial structures available around you, we will be looking at the advantages finally. So variety of shapes and geometries available. You can mount anywhere in any scale. Cost effectiveness, also less affected by the temperature variation. And if you have seen the structures are very robust, very stiff. They are able to handle any kind of environment, and because they are made with the high strength stainless steel and aluminum material, they can perform very well with the longest possible work. and we have wide range of selection with the capacity ranging from the few grams to the many pounds available in the market. So this was all about the strain gauge load cell here, and we will end our session here. Please go through the entire session once again. Try to recall all commercial terminologies and names I have given you with samples. Basic strain gauge theory is already known to you, and also solve the questions given in the description in this video. Thank you. Thank you very much.